We are closer to seeing packs hit MSRP today than in the last 12 months. And I'm here with the data to prove what I'm saying. Now, I want you to understand that as you watch content creators and everything, you may notice that a lot of people are still hyper shilling newer sets. There's still a lot of conversation about how Pokemon always goes up, and there's a little bit more conversation, just a tiny little bit more dialogue around packs hitting MSRP. A lot of PokeTubers and everything are finally starting to say the what if. What if we do go down to MSRP rather than the typical rhetoric that we've heard that Pokemon goes up to the right forever and ever, amen. While we've just been in a crazy bull run, we are now starting to see a softness in the market, a correction, and I want to talk about some specific sets that are showing very interesting signs that may indicate that we're not done seeing the prices correct as far as they'll go. I, again, believe that there is some downward momentum in the market. I think that demand is slowing down. I think prices are lowering. And I think that it's really interesting. It's an interesting time. I, again, think that momentum has a very big role to play in market shifts and everything like that. And it's going to take a very notable moment for momentum to shift the other way. Now, of course, this is all my personal speculation, and if it's your first time checking out the channel, I really appreciate you being here. My name's Matt. I'm with RTCG. I buy, sell, I vend, all of that kind of stuff online. And if you want to check out my stuff over at rartcg.com, you can check that out. But I would really appreciate if you hit that like button or the dislike button and comment down below. Leaving a like and a comment goes a long way to helping promote this video in the algorithm and helping a small channel like me continue to grow. So I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And as always, I say this in every single video, this channel and my comment section is all about encouraging actual critical thought and analysis and actual conversation. So if you disagree with my takes here, I actually encourage you to jump down in the comments and let me know why. Write a couple sentences about your perspective and your opinion on the market, and I would love to learn from you because I think that we learn and grow the most in a diverse kind of setting. So if you disagree with me, hit that dislike button and jump down in the comment section to let me know your thoughts on the market. Now, as we dive in, I want to look at some specific sets, and let's timestamp this video. So this is Sunday, November 30th. So it's right before December 1st. We're at the last tail end of the TCG Player Cyber Weekend sale. This has been a crazy weekend with a ton of sales volume pumping through the website. I myself sell on TCG Player. I've had about 200 sales. I've been doing some regular videos on my experience so far with the sale. It's been absolutely fantastic. And that's another thing we need to touch on is when we see and watch people on YouTube, we have to realize that all of us, from the drama content, videos to all the way to the market analysis videos, we all are benefiting from the current market, from Pokemon, and don't let anybody pretend that they're not benefiting. If they are a larger channel with AdSense, if they're profiting from ads on YouTube, they are benefiting from your eyes and attention about the Pokemon market, and therefore they are, they're just benefiting from the increased demand. So I don't want to shy around about that. I do benefit from the increased demand, but as a reseller, I personally buy product at a percentage of market and then I sell it at full market. So whether the market is pumping and at all-time highs or the market cools down and is more of a normal setting, I'm going to be just fine as a reseller, and I think we need to keep that in mind. The only people a market that's slowing down hurts are two different types of people. Number one, it's people that have just been riding the hype train and buying at the top, just buying everything they hear about, shared on YouTube videos, buying all the collection boxes, hearing that Pokemon only goes up. And those people can be in a really tight situation if they've just been accumulating a lot of product and don't have any sales channels to offload that product at decent or reasonable prices before the prices drop down further. The other person that is typically hurt in a downturn market or correcting market are the scalpers. And I'm going to be honest, I know a lot of people don't shed a tear for scalping, and I totally understand that. But at the heart of who I am, at the core of who I am, I know that those people that are scalping and trying to start a business that way, those are real people. And when the market turns, they are going to be in a lot of trouble. So my heart goes out to them. I don't like scalping at all in the hobby, but I do care about people. And if you disagree with me there, that's totally fine. But I do honestly, and I just honestly and genuinely care about people. And so knowing that people are going to get caught, and knowing that people are maybe financially like hurt because of some of those decisions to clear things out at MSRP, clear things out at your Targets, your Walmarts, your Best Buys. It is a sad reality, but I am happy for the hobby finally healing and maybe that kind of going away for a while until the next bull market starts, and we'll see it all happen again for sure. So that's kind of like where we're at, okay? So just realize that, just know that. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the data. We're gonna look at 4 specific sets and talk about the sell a little bit. So we're going to be looking at Phantasmal, Flames, Mega Evolution, and then I want to talk a little bit towards the end about Journey Together and Surging Sparks, because those 2 sets are very, very curious. And if you are a collector, if you like to rip packs, you want to hear what I have to say about Surging and Journey Together, because we're getting really, really close to MSRP for those sets. So let's go ahead and talk about Ultra Modern. These are the modern sets. These are mainline sets. This is Phantasmal and Mega Evolutions. Both of these sets, before the sell started this weekend, had higher market prices. I'm talking about single packs, and that's important. Let's talk about it in a second. Both of these sets, their single pack prices, market price, was higher on Thursday going into Friday than it is today on Sunday. That is not typically the narrative that you will hear shared whenever this Black Friday sale happens. A lot of times people will say the increased sales volume will drive prices up as the supply is eaten, and then people open, or as people buy, that creates more pressure on the market and it causes prices to rise. That is absolutely true for things like booster boxes, things like maybe something like booster bundles, more in-demand products that have tighter or lower supply. Absolutely, that's going to cause sets to increase in value. But we're not talking about booster boxes here, and that's very intentional by me. Over the last 12 months, there is one product that has seen a lower supply than all the others, in my opinion, and that's the booster box, okay? I think that obviously, you've heard it said before, Pokemon has shifted away from printing booster boxes as a primary form of reprints, and they've been more focused on collection boxes, ETBs, booster bundles, and etc. The booster box, however, has not been a primary focus, and I think that's very interesting, and it's one of the reasons why I'm speculating right now that we will see booster box reprints coming in the near-ish future. I don't know a date, and I could be totally wrong, but that's my speculation, that's my hot take. And so these singular packs we're going to talk about, this data, I think is more relevant for just the everyday consumer of Pokemon. I think people that love to rip packs are not typically going to be the people looking to buy booster boxes. All of the channels covering the rising prices of booster boxes or older sets during the sale, that's absolutely fantastic and amazing. But remember, it matters the kind of data that you're analyzing. If you're analyzing something like booster boxes across that's your gold standard, that's the blue chip for investing in Pokemon. Well, right there, just in that statement, just in me saying that's the blue chip standard for investing in Pokemon, that statement means I'm talking to a very niche section of the hobby. Whenever we look at something like loose booster packs, we're talking about a much broader just kind of stretch of the market, a broader stretch of the hobby in general. People that want to engage with Pokemon, open up some packs, they're going to be looking at other products, maybe booster bundles, maybe ETBs, and probably something like loose packs to look into. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the data. Let me know if you agree with that in the comments as well. So Phantasmal Flames starting off hot. I've covered this in a couple of videos. One of my videos was titled like resellers or panic selling. We saw this debut on Thursday, Friday at $8 and about 20 cents market price, $8.18, $8.20. And then today on Sunday, we've got it holding really strong at $7.91. Now what happened is we saw sales volume go through the roof. We've seen hundreds of packs sold throughout this entire sell, but that did not create upwards pressure, that created downwards pressure, and that's because of this simple thing. There was a lot of supply waiting on the sidelines to hit the market for this sell to go live. Now, what I saw that was interesting is as the sale started, we saw some key sellers list a large amount of packs, in the hundreds of packs, at like $7.97, already putting downward pressure on the market price. And then, so the listing with 300 to 500 packs at $7.97. Then another seller jumped in with another 300 to 500 packs at $7.95. And then we saw another one jump in at $7.91, which is where the market price is holding for now. Now, this is really clearly indicating that some of these sellers are sitting on large amounts of packs. These are not packs from booster boxes. Remember, booster boxes are going to have a premium right now because of how scarce they are. So these are packs likely from ancillary products like collection boxes and the like that people have torn down or have sitting on the sideline waiting to tear down so they can sell those loose packs into the market. These are not sleeve packs or anything like that. The sleeve packs are actually have a very similar story if you want to look into those. But it is definitely my opinion that these are people that either have distribution that maybe had access to a lot of boxes and things like that, or these are people that are engaging in the secondary market, possibly picking up market, picking up stuff at MSRP, picking up stuff slightly above MSRP from the different channels, and then looking to make whatever margin they can on the TCG player sell. Because you have to remember, yes, you're selling it at $7.91, but you have to take out fees and shipping with that in mind. So that's Phantasmal Flames, definitely seeing downward pressure even with increased sales volume. The same is true for Mega Evolutions. Mega Evolutions started going into the sell at $7.30, so $7.30 market price. It is all the way down to $6.81 and holding strong there for very similar reasons. This is important because Mega Evolutions has seen, I believe its second wave is hit, but Phantasmal Flames, before we move too far past that, Phantasmal Flames hasn't had that second wave hit yet. So as the second wave hits, and the second wave is rumored, or I think in some ways confirmed by different people, LGSs and people with distribution that I watch online, the second wave looks to be the same size, if not a little larger than the first wave. That is very curious for a very small set like Phantasmal. So as that additional supply hits the market, it's going to be a madhouse out there. So keep your eye on Phantasmal. I think it's got a lot more room to fall as that second wave hits the market. It's a fun set to open. Yes, people are saying it's Charizard or bust. I actually just recently pulled the Sharpedo SIR. I know it's not a super desirable, super hot Pokemon, but it's a super beautiful card. The texturing looks awesome, and we pulled the Meowth on stream as well, which is absolutely chef's kiss. I love that IR. My favorite card in the set is definitely Piplup because that's my favorite Pokemon of all time, but maybe I'm a little biased. But anyways, so Mega Evolutions and Phantasmal Flames have very similar stories. Yes, sales volume increased, but overall, the market price is still showing downward pressure. There's still downwards momentum in terms of the market price and the price per pack. This is very interesting and curious because these are the newest, hottest sets that we've seen released so far. And remember, we've got Mega Dream coming out at the end, not Mega Dream, that's the Japanese set, but we've got Ascended Heroes coming in at the end of January. It's going to be a waved release. There's going to be a ton of product hitting the shelves. I actually believe that Ascended Heroes is very similar to Crown Zenith in terms of how deep the set is, and I think this is going to be an ideal set, being a specialty set for Pokemon just to print, as we've seen them do in the past. If you combine maybe a subpar set like Phantasmal Flames, with a lot of supply hitting the market soon, and then you throw out like a really highly printed specialty set like Ascended Heroes, and then maybe Pokemon's working on some reprints in the background on top of that, it is a spectacular time to be in the hobby, y'all. Could I be wrong? Could everything just skyrocket back with the release of the Dragonite and the Gengar? Absolutely. It's going to be curious to see, though. But patience really does pay off in a more of a downwards trending market, okay? And we're going to look at Journey Together and Surging as well. But before we do that, you may be like, hey, Matt, I see what you're saying about the mega sets, but what about Destined Rivals? What about White and Black? Well, to be honest, we have seen prices increase slightly going from Friday to Saturday as the initial wave of buyers jumped in and bought packs. But what you'll see in the graphs for, Destined Rivals and for White and Black, you will see that for the most part, the buying surged up on Saturday with a lot of packs purchased, with the price increasing a little bit, and then it's already starting to taper down even before the sale has ended. You're seeing the amount of sell-through go down, and you're seeing the market price adjust as more supply hits the market. So those are very interesting indicators. The only exception to that in these kind of like, what are we looking at here? Like 4 or 5 sets that we're reviewing today. The only exception to that is the black set. For whatever reason, black has more, the price has just slowly increased. Is that just a lack of supply on the market with the increased, sell through? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But, we definitely are seeing more downwards pressure after a little bump up from Destined Rivals and from White Flare. But Black Bolt seems to be holding strong, and the market price has slowly increased over the weekend as far as single packs go. So Journey Together is currently holding strong at a market price of about $5.21. And I said Journey Together, right? Yeah. And then Surging Sparks is holding strong at around $5.91. These two sets are very curious to me. I think these are sets to keep your eye on because Pokemon has committed, when Prismatic Evolutions released, they committed to printing more product. And it is, it's been a held belief that they mean to print from Prismatic onwards, but we've also seen a lot of Surging hit the market because Surging was really the release that we saw the bull market really start to surge. See what I did there? And get into play. So I think that Surging and Journey Together, if we continue to see reprints here, and Journey Together, I think it had some packs hit the market, but we haven't seen a substantial reprint of Journey Together. If and when we do, man, Journey Together is going to hit MSRP. Remember, MSRP is right at $4.50. Surging, any pack below $6 per pack right now is so amazing. It's so encouraging to see. And if you're a collector, somebody in the hobby looking to, fill out a binder, open up some packs with your family just to have fun in the hobby, looking at these sets that are sitting under $6 a pack definitely has to be pretty encouraging for you. It has to be closer to a more comfortable range for you to dive in and buy some packs to open and enjoy. I do believe that Phantasmal is going to have a very large price correction as Wave 2 hits. I think we're just kind of in a little bit of a limbo right now as we still wait for that additional product. But there's a lot of downwards pressure on Phantasmal. Top chase cards, that gold Charizard. I think gold cards are a little bit overhyped. I've shared that in previous videos. I don't think that they're going to be the ultra, chase for this era or anything like that. I think that they came out the gate really hot. But just like the rainbow rares and things like that, there'll be a couple gold cards that stand out, that hold their value, that'll be exciting. Obviously the red Victini was kind of the forerunner with the white and black rares as well. I think those cards will be dearly loved. I think white and black are very interesting in that way, with them both being two separate specialty sets. But man, I think these gold cards, like outside of the 1 or 2 that stick and hold their value and are desirable, I think we'll see these just be another kind of, just another attempt, another just kind of, there's a word for it I just can't think of right now, dang. Just another attempt by Pokemon to create a higher rarity than the SAR chase. So I just don't think they have the staying power as some of the other, illustration rares and things like that. So I think Pokemon's experimenting though, and I'm excited to see where they ultimately land up. land at, because I think there is an opportunity for a higher rarity chase than the SIR, but we're just not there yet in Pokemon. We gotta let Pokemon, they're cooking, guys. They're cooking. Let them cook, okay? Let them cook. These gold cards are cool, but I just don't think they're it for the long term. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the market is going to continue to have a downward momentum and pressure on it? Or do you think the release of Ascended Heroes is the savior of the Pokemon hobby? It's a cool set. I think the hit rates are going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think hitting a God Pack is going to feel amazing. So I'm not at all judging that. What I am saying, though, is I do not think a set with one S-tier Pokemon at Gengar is enough to carry the set. I love Dragonite. The Mega Dragonite card looks amazing, but for me personally, Dragonite's more of a B-tier Pokemon. Come at me in the comments, guys. I'll see y'all for the next one. Peace.